Will you please welcome Randy Gage?
Thank you. Thank you. So what do you do when your dream dies? Do you sit down and cry? Do you give it up and let it die? Or do you give it one more try? Let me tell you the way it worked for me. I came to work one morning about 11 o'clock. There were two people sitting in a car waiting for me, and I got there. And see what had happened, let me tell you the preview to this. I had a restaurant, bought it with a partner of mine. We kind of bootstrapped the thing. Didn't really have enough money to start it like we should have. We tried to grow it as best we could, but we didn't pay the taxes, and we struggled by and borrowed from this account to that account and this account to that account. And eventually I bought him out, and I sent a letter to the IRS, who's the tax agency there in the States, and said, I'm the new owner here. We've had some problem with taxes. I want to make this right. Let's work out a payment plan. And I never heard anything for 3 months. So I sent a check in there. Here's a deposit, $1,000, good faith. Didn't hear anything for 3 months, so I sent another check, another letter. Never heard a thing for a couple of months until that morning. They're waiting on the car. You Mr. Gage? Yes. I'm Agent so-and-so. This is Agent so-and-so. We're here from the Internal Revenue Service. We have your letters here. We have your files here. And we notice, you have $15,000 in back taxes. So we need that money. There's a 100% penalty because they were not filed. So that's $30,000. And then there's the late fees and the interest payment and the this and the that. And we need $37,000 today, or we're going to seize your restaurant. So I was like, I must have left my checkbook at home, right? And so I called my lawyer, I called my accountant. They all said the same thing. There's nothing you can do, Randy. You've got to work something out with these people. And I remember hiring a consultant who used to be an IRS agent, and she negotiated with him. She called me one day and she said, Randy, we're at the end of the road. The way they keep compliance is they have to set some examples sometimes, and you had a busy delivery business and they saw those cars going all the time with the signs on them, and they need to make examples, and they just want to make you an example. And so they auctioned off the place on the courthouse steps, $500,000 a year operation. They auctioned it off for $11,000. And I couldn't beg, borrow, or steal $11,000 to get it out of hock, so that was the end of my dream. And I remember driving along in the car that day, not even my car because I didn't have a car anymore. I remember driving along in my friend's car and crying in the car, thinking, I have to call my mother and tell her this. I have to tell my friends this. I mean, I was so ashamed. I was so humiliated. I didn't know what I could do. How was I going to tell people that I had lost my business? And between the $37,000 I owed those guys and then the money I owed to the vendors, whatever money I had left that day, I took and paid off the employees and said, this is the last check you're going to get, so do what you can with it. And that left me $55,000 US, $55,000 in debt. No house, no car, no credit cards, no job. And what do you do in a situation like that? Well, when you have your dream. And see, that was the biggest dream I had at that point in my life. Because as you heard from Ford, I'm a high school dropout. I started off as a dishwasher in a pancake house. And then I worked my way up to cook, and then I became a waiter, and then I was a manager trainee. And I thought, boy, if I could just be a restaurant manager, that would be, I could wear a tie, I'd go around with the coffee pot. How's your dinner this evening? Everything okay? You know, I thought, oh, this would be it. Until I got that job. And then I realized I worked 60, 70, sometimes 80 hours a week for a fixed salary. And, you know, and then I became like the problem store manager, and they sent me around to different cities whenever they had a store losing money. They would send me there, and it was my job there to go and be the turnaround guy. So I'd go in and work on the payroll, work on the food costs, the controllable expenses, make the thing profitable, and they'd send me somewhere else. I lived in 18 cities in 5 years. So think what kind of home life you have, what kind of friends. You don't have any friends. You don't, you know, because people stop calling you. Because every time they call you, you're always working. And you never go to the movies, and you never go to dinner, and you never go anywhere, so they just stop calling you. And your work becomes your life. And I know we got people in this room tonight and people watching on this film today who going through the same thing. We get out of balance. We get so busy chasing our income, we forget about living life. We forget about living our dreams. So anyway, that was my dream. I thought to run a restaurant until I got it. And then I said, well, this is crazy. I'm minimum wage here. When I divide all these hours I'm working with what I'm doing, I know what I got to do. I need to own my own restaurant. That would be the dream. And that's the great American dream, of course. And back in the States, is you get your own business and you start it up. And so that's what I did. And I saved my money, and I worked hard, and I played by the rules, and I did all the stuff you're supposed to do, and I got that restaurant. Until that day when it all ended like that. And all of a sudden, where do you go when you don't have that dream anymore? And, you know, in my case, I had to back up, and I'll talk about that in a sec, but I don't want to talk about me tonight. I want to talk about you tonight. I want to talk about your dream. And I mean the big dreams, the bold, daring, imaginative ones you had. The ones you had when you were 15 years old, and 18 years old, 20 years old. Because you know what I see people give up on their dreams. And it seems the older we get, the more we give up on our dreams. And you know, talk to any kid who's 15 years old, and they know they're going to have a great car when they grow up, and a great house, and a great job, and a wonderful spouse, and they're going to be rich, and they're going to be successful, and they're going to be an astronaut, or a football star, or a rock star, or whatever, right? There's no limits to what they can dream. And what happens along the way? They get out, they go to school, they get out as 22, 23 years old, all of a sudden they take a job they don't really want. It's not their dream job, but they figure it'll do for right now. And then maybe they find out about another job, and that's not their dream job, but it's a little more money than the last one. And they meet someone along the way, and all of a sudden there's two, and then there's a little baby on the way, and there's another baby, and then there's diapers and formula and braces and all of those kind of things. And all of a sudden they take another job that's 500 miles away, but again, it pays a few $1,000s more a year, so they take that job. And all of a sudden you're 35 years old, you're 45 years old, you're 55 years old, and you forgot about your dreams. That's what tonight is about. I know you heard it's a business opportunity. Nah, it's a dream opportunity. How to get your dreams back. I notice this because I like sports cars. Some of you all know me. You know, I got a car thing going on. And it's funny, I'll be sitting at the light in one of my Vipers, let's say, and some car will pull up next, and there'll be a guy driving there, and he's got his 2-3 kids in there in the back, and they'll roll down the window, "Hey, Mr. Viper, man, cool car, man, and, you know, rev the engine up. I can't wait. When I grow up, I'm going to get a Viper." And kids say that to me all the time. "I grow up, I'm going to get a Viper." Now, Dad doesn't say that. He's just sitting there behind the wheel, because see, Dad's already grown up. And he figured out he ain't getting the Viper. He's got the minivan. Right? What happened along the way? You know, because, and it's funny, every year they publish the list of the most popular cars. And I see it every year, and it comes out. And I read the list, and it's funny. Now, when I talk to kids, and I talk to a lot of kids, they always like cars. And I'm going to get a Corvette, I'm going to get a Lamborghini, I'm going to get a Ferrari. And then when they publish this list of the best-selling cars, it's Toyota Camrys and Holdens and Mercurys and Ford Escorts and Geo Metros, the broke mobiles. Right? These are all cars they make for broke people. You see that? Like the Holdens you got here. Right? And the Toyotas we got there, and the Chevys we got there, and the Buicks we got there. They make those things for broke people. Now, how come when I see the list of the top 10 things, I don't see Ferraris and Lamborghinis and Rolls Royce and Jaguar and Bentley? Because they gave up on their dreams. They said, well, this is the car we got. It's room for the car seat in the back, and we can afford the payments. And they settle for a car. And they settle for a house. And they settle for a job. And they settle for a life of quiet desperation. When they could be living a life of joy, challenge, growth, adventure, and prosperity. That's what tonight's about. I want you to think about, really, here's the challenge I would give you. I want you to think of 5 things you would do, have, or become if money was no object. I mean, really think about this, okay? You don't have to write it down. I just want you to think about it. But think about if you had Bill Gates' kind of money, if you had Larry Ellison's kind of money, if you were one of these .com billionaires, would you be driving the car you're driving right now that you got here today in? How many people, tell the truth now, if money was no object, how many people would have a different car in the parking lot tonight? Okay. Now, if money was absolutely no object, you had 30, 40, 50, 60 billion dollars, how many people would have a different roof over their head when they went home tonight? How many people have a better wardrobe? Ladies, how many of you would have bigger closets? Right? Yeah. So this tells me something. This tells me you do have dreams. And you want to live them, or you wouldn't be sitting here tonight. See, most of Australia tonight, most of New Zealand tonight, most of the United States, UK, everywhere where they're watching this video, most people aren't gathered like this. Most people are sitting on a recliner, rubbing the hair off the back of their head, drinking rancid fermented hops, watching the Idiot Box. 6 hours a day. And this is their life. Monday morning, 6:30. The alarm clock goes off. And they hit the snooze bar. If I could just get 15 more minutes. And they wait 15 more minutes. And they hit the snooze bar again. And they get 10 more. And then they got to get up. And they rush in the shower. And they jump in the car. And they buy their breakfast through a drive-through somewhere. And then they go to a job they don't like or actually hate. 85% of them, a job they don't like or actually hate, and they get through Monday till 5 o'clock or 5:30 or 6 o'clock, and then they go out and they face the traffic going home. They probably get drive-through dinner somewhere, dinner in a bucket to take home to the kids, get in front of the Idiot Box and sit there in a coma till they fall asleep, or they crawl into bed until Tuesday morning, 6:30, it starts all over again. Wednesday, hump day. Thursday, we're almost there. Thank goodness it's Friday. Because you know what Friday means, right? Because Friday means somewhere near the end of the day, the boss is going to say, hey, here, boy. You're going to get out that little paycheck. And they're going to get that paycheck. And for one brief moment in time, it's going to feel like it's theirs. But we know it isn't theirs, is it? because they got all those little window envelopes from the credit card company just waiting for them. And that money is spent long before it ever got there. But for this one brief moment in time, it feels like theirs. So I don't know what they do here in Sydney, but I know what they do in the States. They go out to Pizza Hut. All right? So it's off to Pizza Hut for a deep dish, meat lovers, extra cheese, extra meat, but, Diet Pepsi because I'm trying to hold my weight, And off to the Pizza Hut, and then it's off to the neighborhood video store where they rent 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, even 10 videos to get them through the weekend. And they will spend their entire weekend sitting on that same recliner, rubbing that same hair off the back of that same head, drinking the same rancid fermented hops in a coma all weekend long, video after video after video, so they don't have to think about their life of quiet desperation until Monday morning, 6:30, when it starts all over again. This is life for a lot of people. This is life for millions of people. They're missing out on the real life. They're missing out on the real joy. And I don't want that for you. I didn't come 12,000 miles here to tell you what you want to hear. I came to tell you what I think you need to hear. We got a business here that offers you a chance with unlimited income potential. It's a business to help you be successful while you're helping other people reach success. You choose the hours you work. You pick the people you get to work with. I mean, do you know what a joy that is? Just to be able to pick the people instead of those slobs you're working with. Right? I mean, the tax advantages are extraordinary. The travel opportunity, if you're like me and you love to travel the world, the travel opportunities in this business are simply amazing. Okay? So what's it take to do the business? Well, it doesn't take a lot of money. This is a very low startup cost business. It doesn't take a lot of time. This is a business you can start in 7 to 10 hours a week. And what I'm going to share with you tonight is a 2 to 4 year plan. So you say, is this a get-rich-quick scheme? Yes, as a matter of fact, it is. Okay? Because anything that can get you rich in 2 to 4 years is a get-rich-quick scheme as far as I'm concerned. Because what are most people doing? They're doing the 45-year plan, which is they get a job around 20 years old. They work for 45 years at that dead-end job they don't like or actually hate and retire around 65 years old and try to live their golden years on half of what they couldn't get by on when they worked. Do you get that? Your retirement's about half of what, and I've been in all the country I've been in, I can't tell you how many different countries, and I've been in socialistic countries and free enterprise countries and everything in between, and I can tell you the retirement security, it's the same in all those places. Your golden years, if you're counting on the government to take care of you, if you're counting on pensions to take care of you, you're looking at living your golden years on 50% of what you can't get by on right now.